Business development, also referred to as inside sales, is the activity of pursuing strategic opportunities for a particular business or organization. Basically, you build relations with potential clients to find business opportunities. Why do organizations need business development teams? Well, one, to spread the word about their firm's product or service to the right people, to present their product or service to the right people and generate leads, and most importantly, to improve the revenue of the organization by converting leads into deals. Along with their best buddies, the marketing team, they play an important part through the sales funnel. So, business development associates' sole responsibility is to guide a prospect through all the pipeline levels until the deal is closed and product or service is delivered. Well, what is not business development? Well, it is not blindly pitching a product. It is not similar to selling a product from a retail shop. It is not a piece of cake where you can close hundreds of deals on the first day. Most importantly, it is not an easy job. Like any skill, business development is a skill that grows as you nurture and practice every day. When it comes to business development, it's important to know what types of IT companies or businesses exist. In the IT industry, there are two types of companies: product-based companies and service-based companies. Let's understand what they are. Product company. These companies create a product or solution for a problem or need that an end user has. Service company. These companies provide services for a problem or solution that the end user has. It could be creating a product or providing a technical service such as web development, app development, etc. These companies can be further classified into business-to-consumer companies that target everyday people or business-to-business companies that target businesses. Let's look at some examples. Product-based companies. Service-based companies. Now note, some B2C products or services can also be used for B2B purposes and vice versa. A company decides who their target customers are. As mentioned earlier, in business development there's always a funnel or pipeline. Here are several stages. As you can see, each stage of the funnel has different activities. Though opinion changes from person to person, it is quite evident that stage 1 to stage 4 is critical to the sales cycle and often the hardest part. However, as a business development associate, there are few activities that should be done before you start prospecting. One of them is target segmentation. It's important to segment or classify your target audience. Let's take a general example. Let's say you're selling shoes. You have to target different types of customers based on the shoes you're selling. If you're selling sports shoes, then you should target sports people or athletic people. If you're selling formal shoes, probably your target will be business people. Similarly, if an IT company has created a product or service, the business development associate should know who that product or service is for. For example, if I've created software for analyzing sales of a company, then my target audience will be VP of Sales, CEO, COO, etc. If I have created a software for helping recruitment in a company, then my target audience will be HR head, VP of recruitment, etc. If I have solved some technical problem of a company in a specific industry, then my target audience will be the IT decision makers. The second one, building a database. We will talk about B2B targeting. To build a database, you can leverage existing data or do research on various social or web platforms such as LinkedIn, Discover.org, ZoomInfo, etc. to find your target audience. that is, if you are catering to businesses. Once you have gathered relevant information such as email addresses, phone numbers, or social media connections, you should start with prospecting and qualifying leads. Along with the initial research, sending emails, cold calling, and social media engagement will be a business development associate's everyday activities. Okay, here is the growth trajectory if you choose business development as your career. So, you definitely have a future in business development. Also, the average salary for a business development manager in India is 6 lakhs. It's quite a lucrative profile. To get into business development, all you need is a willingness to learn fast, good communication skills, negotiation skills, and put in hard but smart work. So, are you ready to get into business development? Let us help you.
Looking to learn exactly what business development is, how it works, and whether or not it's something you should be interested in, stick around because we're going to get all your questions answered in this video. What's up guys, it's Patrick Deng here, and today we're going to talk is business development. Well, the definition is going to vary depending on what industry you're in and the company that you are working at. But just to keep things as simple as possible for this video, we're going to define business development as the process of developing growth opportunities and relationships with other organizations. So breaking it down even further, the two main variables here is developing growth opportunities and establishing relationships with other organizations. And typically these relationships are going to hold long-term value. So it's not as if you're just selling something and you're disappearing. You're actually building a relationship with another person, another organization, so that there can be a win-win situation on both sides. So let's go ahead and get more tactical and get into some examples of business development. So recently I've been really interested in the esports and gaming industry. Now, for those of you who may not know, gaming is actually bigger than movies and the music industry combined. So it's a huge billion dollar industry. So there are going to be people who are competing in major tournaments and competitions, similar to how people compete in the NBA for basketball. There is the equivalent for esports for many different games. And again, it is a multi-billion dollar industry. Okay, so what exactly does this have to do with business development? Okay, so basically there's this game called Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has been out for many years, right? Now this game is extremely popular, where the most recent one that came out, there are 50 million active users playing this game. 50 million is a lot of people who are playing Call of Duty, right? So naturally there's going to be a Call of Duty league, where it's similar to how you have, let's say, the Lakers playing in the NBA. You have different esports teams playing in Call of Duty, competing to see who is the best and trying to win tournaments. And now here's the thing, Call of Duty is available on many different platforms. There's PlayStation, there's Xbox, and the PC. So recently I've been kind of interested in this, so I've been going on YouTube, checking out what these tournaments are like. So here's a picture of some professional esports player competing in a live tournament. And as you can see here, something that caught my attention was that if you look at what controllers these professional players are playing on, it's actually a PlayStation controller. And that's kind of interesting because I looked at other different tournaments and everybody is playing on PlayStation. They could be playing on Xbox, they could be playing on PC, but for some reason, every tournament is played on PlayStation. And so that got me thinking, how exactly did this happen? And the answer is business development. So like I said before, when we define business development, that's essentially having growth relationships and long-term partnerships. So basically, Call of Duty, Activision, Blizzard, which is the people behind World of Warcraft and that entire series. So pretty much if you are Activision and you're making Call of Duty and you're gonna have these tournaments, you're gonna have these big leagues, and it's a multi-billion dollar industry. You have the choice of playing on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. So as a business development person working at Activision, they're gonna go out to all the platforms and they're gonna say, hey, look, we're gonna have these tournaments and we're trying to find the right console to play our games on. Are you interested in having your console be featured in all of our tournaments? Now, the business development person at Activision Call of Duty is gonna go out to all the platforms and come out with this pitch. And all of these platforms like PlayStation, Xbox, PC, they're going to have their own business development people work with Call of Duty and try to figure out what is the best deal. Maybe they might offer money, maybe they might offer different type of opportunities, but essentially the people that are working on this deal together, that is business development, long-term growth opportunities with other organizations. So if you look at this Call of Duty example, in the end, it was PlayStation that won the deal. So PlayStation, every time that Call of Duty has some kind of major esports tournament, everyone's playing on PlayStation, that's a huge bonus for PlayStation, because when average gamers look at their favorite players and favorite teams play Call of Duty, they're gonna think, oh, all the pros are playing on PlayStation. So if I'm making the decision of whether I should buy a PlayStation or an Xbox or game on a PC, I'm gonna choose a PlayStation because that's where all the other pros play, and I admire all the professional players, so I'm gonna play on the same system that they're playing on. And so obviously, to make this deal happen, PlayStation probably had to pay a lot of money and offer many different opportunities for Activision and Call of Duty, but essentially that is business development, long-term opportunities that have win-wins on both sides. Now let's even get more interesting with these opportunities. Now I showed you this picture before. Now here is a professional esports team playing in a gaming tournament. But if you notice on the little tag on which team this is, you kind of see the logo over there. It actually says US Army. And that's kind of strange, right? Why is there a US Army logo on an esports team? Well, I did a little more research and I figured out that the US Army is using Call of Duty and its gaming tournaments to recruit new people, younger kids, into the Army. So the logic is that if people are interested in Call of Duty, they are interested in, military and guns and that kind of service. So if the US Army has a professional gaming team that is promoting the US Army and it's in this arena, then these kids who are interested in this field may consider joining the Army because they're represented in these gaming industries. So what is this exactly? This is business development. The US Army has a business development person working with Call of Duty to see how they might be able to create a team to recruit new candidates. And Activision, obviously, the makers of Call of Duty, is also gonna have their own business development person working with the US Army to see how that deal will fit together. And this is a very interesting opportunity because the US Army has many different ways to recruit. They could do Facebook advertising, Google advertising, they could work with different type of partners, schools, universities, but in this situation, because gaming is so huge, they decided to just create their own esports team as a form of advertisement. And obviously they have to invest a lot of money to do this, but in return, they get new recruits into the US Army. So when it comes to business development, it's not always necessarily like making a sale or a transaction. Sometimes it's some type of partnership where, there's a win on both sides. Now, obviously business development has other applications besides just the gaming industry, right? Whether it's hotels, construction, real estate, finance, you name it, every single industry does have business development people. So if you're considering a career in business development, or you're just trying to see like what exactly it is, if you're interested in working with other people and finding partnerships and situations where both sides can win. Now, if you're somebody that likes to work with people and you like to find win-win situations for both parties, business development might be a serious career opportunity for you. And it's different from sales because for sales, it's a little more transactional where you're selling something, the person buys and it's a done deal. But for business development, if you're someone that wants to build long-term partnerships and relationships that are going to last years or even decades in some situations, then business development might be the route for you. So with that said, that is pretty much what exactly business development. In this video, you're gonna learn what the day-to-day life is like in business development. And you wanna make sure you watch this video until the end because if you are considering a career in business development, or maybe you're just getting started, you're gonna get an inside look on what the job actually is so you know whether or not it's gonna be right for you. Business development videos like this. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first part of the day-to-day life of someone in business development is actually prospecting. Now, if you're doing any type of business development work, meaning your job is to take your company and you want to partner up with other businesses and close deals, well, the first part of this process is actually to prospect. And that means finding other people who will be a great fit to work with you and finding out ways to reach out to them and generate appointments, meetings, so that you can have conversations to see whether or not it makes sense to work together. And in the beginning of business development, especially if you're just starting out and you're fresh to the role, a majority of your day, probably 90% of your day, is going to be dedicated to prospecting. And the reason why prospecting is so important is because if you're not generating meetings and appointments with potential dream customers, well, you can't really do any type of business development, right? You can't work with anybody if nobody knows who you are. So in the beginning, all day, every day, basically you wake up, you go to work, and your job is to find these companies, build the list out of people you want to work with, reach out to them with email, LinkedIn, or cold calling, whatever works best in your industry, get them on the phone, book an appointment, learn about their business, and see whether or not it's going to make sense to work together. And a very important aspect of prospecting is really defining who is it you should be going after, which is called an ideal customer profile. And a lot of times for a business development person, your manager or the leadership at the company you may be working at, well, they may not always have a clear idea of who you should be reaching out to. So you have to come up with some creative ideas to see who you actually want to reach out to. Is it gonna be casino companies, e-commerce, people in real estate, finance, cryptocurrencies, right? And you have to figure out the use cases for your services and see how they can fit into these industries. So even though, you might be a new person working a new business development role, you still have to think very creatively. You can't always be told what to do. You have to come up with great ideas on who exactly you can sign up and work with to expand your business. But as you generate more meetings and you have an idea of who you want to work with, the next step after the process is to fulfill on these business development meetings. All right, so whether you're generating leads outbound, meaning you're doing cold email, LinkedIn, or cold calling, or if the company you're working at has some type of marketing mechanism where they're generating inbound leads and you kind of, the leads come in and you're the one that talks to the potential customer on the phone, either outbound, inbound, it's your job as a business development person to qualify the prospect to see whether or not it's a good fit to work together. Essentially, business development meetings are very similar to sales meetings. And generally what happens on these business development meetings is you want to learn more about the prospect, see what their challenges are, see what they're trying to do and what their aspirations are, and understand what are the things that are blocking them from getting them to where they want to go. And so from a business development perspective, your job is to identify whether or not if they work with you, can they achieve the goals that they already want to achieve, and can you help them remove the blockers? Now, there's many different flavors of business development, from small, medium business all the way to working with enterprise. So let's say you're working at a tech company and it's your job to, sign up all these restaurants and retail stores to use your software. Well, you might be having, 5 to 8 meetings a day, and you're just going down the list and trying to get as many meetings as possible with the ice cream store, the clothing shop, and things like that, right? Because you're trying to sell into mom and pop shops, you have high velocity, meaning you're trying to get through and sign up as many people as possible, right? Because if you get a lot of people who sign up for your software, then potentially you can make a lot of money. Now, when you're doing more enterprise deals, you may not be doing 8 meetings every single day. You might be just doing 1 new meeting a day, and that's considered a lot because when you're doing enterprise, just closing 1 deal makes a significant impact on the business, and I'll go ahead and give you an example of that. So let's say you were a business development person working at Square. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Square, Square is basically a point of sale system, meaning it's like, retail stores, clothing stores, and stuff like that. If somebody wants to pay using a debit card or credit card, basically they would connect that to something like an iPad or iPhone, and you can swipe the card, and then basically the software that's on the iPad, which is Square, will take care of the rest in terms of, doing the transaction, getting the payment, sending it to your bank account, and all that stuff, right? So basically, if you want to buy something, you're using Square to process the payment. And so if you live in, let's say, America, where Square is quite popular, well, you kind of see it in places where they sell food or retail stores, and they also have software over here, right? So they have the Square Reader, they have the thing that prints out the receipt, card reader again, or it might look like this, where it's like an iPad, and then you kind of swipe the card over here. So again, you might have seen this already, and there are different competitors to Square that do pretty much the same thing. And for reasons, a lot of people are using Square because it's clean, it looks good, and the software does work. And I remember when I was running a pop-up ice cream shop, at one point in my career, I was using Square to collect payments as well. So it basically looks something like this, right? So you can be, selling flowers and stuff like that and using Square. So basically any type of retail store where they need a point of sale system, selling food, flowers, whatever the case is, Square is a good fit. Now, if you're doing business development on the enterprise level, right? And you're working at Square and your job is to connect with, let's say, large restaurant franchises, well, this might be a good example. So let's go ahead and dive into a case study of a business development example with Square and Shake Shack and the agency Fuse. So Shake Shack essentially sells these burgers, chicken, hamburgers, and they have, I think, 200 or 300 locations across the world, and I think primarily in North America. And it's a big franchise, right? They sell a lot of hamburgers every single day and they have hundreds of different franchises. So with what's going on right now, there's like social distancing and things like that. Shake Shack basically has a way for people to come into the store and they order on basically, I'm not sure if it's iPad or some kind of tablet. So basically what they want to do is create a self-serve way for customers to order on these tablets. And basically they order over here, they go over here and they pick up their order. So why is this good for Shake Shack? Well, people can just come in and they don't have to wait in a long line and wait for a cashier to ring them up and write down their order. Why not just let the customers do it themselves, right? Because it's the same process essentially. And then they pay and then they go to the front, pick up their order, and it's done. And you don't have to have a lot of human contact. You just gotta press the buttons on the iPad, get your order, and you can leave. And for this example, to make it all possible, Shake Shack had to work with an agency to basically make this all a reality. And they also have to work with Square, who basically operates the software side of things to, handle the point of sale system and integrate that payment transaction into the rest of their software. So why is this considered business development? Well, if you're a Shake Shack, right? Even though this sounds very simple, it's just like a place where you order, it's actually very complex process, right? So basically there's business development people on all sides, Shake Shack, Fuse, and Square. Every single person has business development people. If you're Fuse, you're the agency, you basically have to convince everybody to say hey, we're gonna create this amazing experience for you, and you basically work with the other companies to make this a reality. If you're Square and you're a business development person, it's your job to work with Fuse, the agency, and work with Shake Shack to say, hey, we're gonna be better than everybody else. You should use our software, our hardware, and use them in all your stores instead of the other guys. And here's why. And you kind of explain why you're better than everybody else, how you're going to integrate with the rest of their software, and how you're gonna make everything seamless and easy, not only for the consumers who experience this firsthand, you're also gonna make it easy for all the technical people working at Square, because you're trying to make your software as easy as possible to work with. And a lot of times to make this happen, you have to create custom software to integrate with whatever Shake Shack is using on the back end. So it's not necessarily you're just saying, hey, I got this product here, you can buy it. It's in business development, you actually have to work together with multiple parties. And to make a deal like this happen, there's probably dozens of people working hard on this every single day to make this a reality. And you're basically creating something new, based on what you have. You're working together to create something new and to create a better end experience for the consumer. And why would Square dedicate so much resources to making this happen? Well, Shake Shack has about 270 locations around the world, right? So if they are successful in creating this type of experience, self-serve experience using Square products in one store, well, why don't they just take that experience and expand it to all the other stores across North America and all of the world? So suddenly, if Shake Shack is using Square and Square is getting a percentage of every single sale that goes through the point of sale system, well, Square is very incentivized to get as many of these Square systems in every single retail store so that they just collect more revenue. So one deal with Shake Shack, right? If they expand, let's say if they're using Square for, all the payments in all the stores, all 270 of them around the world, well, that's a huge number and huge revenue every single year for Square. So it's worth it to do this kind of business development deal, because in the end, when you talk about the long-term value of Shake Shack, it could be a 7-figure deal. And not only that, but you're making revenue off of one customer, but then you can go to all the other restaurants, all the other places that want to create some type of self-serve way for people to order their food. And you can say, hey, we helped Shake Shack do this. we can help you do something similar. Then you work with another person and then you sign them up, and then that's another 7-figure deal. So you can kind of see, like, when you work with one person, you get the job done and you find more people who are similar to how you helped the previous person, and the ball just keeps rolling from there. And then eventually everyone's going to be using some kind of self-serve mechanism, and hopefully if you're doing a good job as a business and you're Square, well, Square is going to be everywhere in, you know, all these different restaurants and retail stores and things like that. So now that you understand what the day entails when it comes to, you know, what does business development do at the enterprise level, well, the next step is to understand what is actually the responsibility of the business development person. What are the skills that they need to have in order to succeed? So like I was saying before, right? So if you're a business development person working at Square, it's your job to take the meetings with Shake Shack and Fuse. Beginning of the process, it's your job to listen to what exactly they want and to see if you can create a custom solution to help them achieve their goals, right? It's understanding their problems, having empathy, and showing that you can be a solutions to those pains and make those pains go away. You also have to have presentation skills, pitching skills, because you're trying to demonstrate that they should use Square versus any other competitor on the market. Because essentially there's a lot of other people that do something similar, but why should you choose one company versus another? And it's the business development person's job to separate themselves from the pack and show why their company is different and show why their company is better. So as a business development person, it's your job to be on the phone, meet the client in person, build trust and rapport, bring in any technical people to help answer technical questions, right, that you can answer yourself. And you're basically that go-to point. You know, if business development was kind of like football, a business development person would be a quarterback, right? They're the ones making the play, getting the read, and then they're aligning all the right players to do their job, and then they kind of throw the ball to the next person to get the job done. That's gonna be what it's like for, you know, working in business development for the enterprise. But let's say you're business development working in small, medium businesses, right? You're selling into, you know, individual shops or retail stores and things like that. If you're trying to sign up people to your program, it's a lot less complicated in that you don't have to really build anything custom. You kind of say like, hey, do you want to sign up for a program? Here's why we're better. And then they sign up or they don't sign up, and you go by volume, right? So usually the larger the company, the bigger the deal, the more intricate and complex it is, and the more effort you have to put in before a deal closes. Now, the smaller the company and the less investment required to sign up, well, you know, these can typically be faster. So like a small, medium business deal might be, you know, 1 week, 2 weeks, or 1 month. A large deal like signing up a Shake Shack or a Starbucks might literally take 6 months, a year, you know, because these are big deals. And the last part of a business development person's job is to provide feedback for the product team and the leadership team at the company they are working at, right? So if you're the quarterback and you're the go-to person that the customer or client is always talking to, you're the one that's gonna have the most information, and you have your hand on the pulse of what's actually going on. So if the customers have certain problems, or, you know, they want to do something but there's nothing in the market that solves that problem, it's your job as that go-to person to go to the team and say, hey guys, you know, Shake Shack is saying this is what they want. There's nothing on the market that can solve it. You know, do we want to spend our resources to develop this technology to solve their problem, right? So a business development person, it's not just to sell what it is that you currently have, it's also to come up with new ideas based on customer feedback on where the product should be going. And because you're the person that is directly talking to the customer, you're the one that knows best. So sometimes, you know, a business development person is very involved when it comes to developing a product so that the product fits the needs of where the market is going. And so with that said, that's pretty much the day-to-day life of business development and basically what the job entails at a high level.
Hi friends, good morning. The topic for today is business development and inside sales. As you can see, the difference between business development and inside sales is very minute. So it is very useful to understand what is the difference between inside sales and business development. So let's say we are working for a company. Company is selling something, be it a product or be it a service or be it a solution, whatever it is. We are selling something in order to generate some revenue. For that, we need some team where they can help in order to get the new business. So I'll be telling you the difference between the business development and inside sales. Business development is a team of people wherein they are understanding the product which you are selling and understanding who will be the potential clients and doing some market research and getting their contact information and set up a meeting with high level people in order to take decisions on that business. That's business development. What is the difference between inside sales and business development? So inside sales guys are somebody who helps the company to close the deal. They are involved in documentation. They are involved in getting more information from the client, or they are involved in getting the contact information from the client, etc. So the difference between the business development and the inside sales is very minute. So I'll be explaining you very thoroughly. Okay, here if you can see, the inside sales representative or business development representative is responsible for revenue growth for an organization and customer retention as a part of business to business with integrated sales model. Let's say a company is selling an IT services, so they have some business development representatives or inside sales representatives in order to grow their revenue and customer retention. Whoever is already the customers, they want to get more revenue from them as well, or in terms of renewal, etc. We plays a prominent role in maintaining that. Okay, sales and business development, the two different ways to refer the same activity. Getting your company's product into customers' hands, right? So actually, when you see the sales and business development should not be considered the same job at all. Instead, think two roles are complementary, have as the whole. So we need to work together in order to reach a common goal, that to generate revenue. In traditional sense, business development refers to activities designed to expand your organization's reach into new market. So let's say our company has sold some products to some particular segment of people, and business development teams understand where else we can sell these products. They do the market research. So this product might be helpful for this segment of people as well. This product might be helpful for this kind of segment as well. So understanding the different available hidden customers in order to sell your X product. So that is business development. And when you consider inside sales, they're referred as sales development roles. So once we understand the target segment, once we get the database, once we get them on board, once we get the initial traction, then sales representatives helps them in order to give the demonstrations, or in order to do in order to give the present solution, or whatever the solution they're looking, or whatever the things they're actually challenging, they're facing the challenges, etc. The sales development representatives help them in make this deal close smoothly. So business development people are responsible for understanding the different segments and different target segments by doing market research, wherein sales people are responsible for uh, close the deal smoothly, as a minute difference. And nowadays most of the organizations, business development and sales development representatives both are same. So they don't want to make the process complex by keeping two different teams. So here in any organization, in IT organization, we are responsible for business development activities as well as inside sales representatives. So this means SDRs do not carry quotas because they are having minimum responsibilities to make the deal closure, like giving demonstrations or understanding the client requirements at that particular point of time, to save the time and to make the process standardized. So the basic understanding of yours in between the inside sales and business development process. Business development process refers to understanding the new target segment by doing market research and getting more database, getting more potential to the company in order to generate the revenue. So once we done with business development activities, we have to be involved in inside sales activities, like giving demonstrations to the client, like understanding the client pain points, giving them with a customized solution, etc. So our role starts with business development, understanding the new potential customers, understanding the new target segments, and understanding how our product is going to help them, and understanding the pain points of particular customers, and making them to get out of that pain point by our solution, what the solution that we are giving. So there are some particular sales qualification frameworks. The main sales qualification framework is BANT, B-A-N-T, BANT analysis. So here we understand, let's say we are talking to a vice president of information technology for X company. So that means vice president is a title where he can able to take the decision on his own. So it means authority wise, he is authoritative person to take a decision on what we are selling. Budget wise, if the company have revenue of $50 million, they should have some IT budgets. So they have something to invest on some products or services what we are selling. So we need to understand that by looking into the company size, company revenue, we can able to understand the budget of the company. We can able to understand whether he's a decision maker or not. Need, when it comes to need, it actually whether that particular company has a need of the solution that we are selling. Are we selling the right product to the right customer, etc. And the timeline is something whether the company is uh, wants to buy a service or product within 3 months or within 6 months. That is something catchy point, because if the customer wants to buy something after 1 year, that is not an active lead for us. So if you can look into this, whether they are taking a decision maker, whether we are talking to decision maker or not, whether the company could use your product or not, whether the leads problem can be solved by our product or not, whether the lead needs a solution in the near future or not. That's what we get to know, the minimum things about the client, what kind of budget the lead is working with. So everything we get that in qualification process. We do all this with primary research over Google and etc. And there is two different major difference between sales development call and sales call. So sales development calls means uh, just like a sales development representative responsibility is to find out whether the leads company has, it's more like a market research how we do when we are contacting a client. See, let's say I want to get more information about some CEO or some CTO, Chief Technology Officer for X company, who is having some pain points and they need a solution. So early conversations should revolve around the gathering of information. So let's say I am a company who is selling some SharePoint services or Microsoft services. So I'm getting in touch with some company person, some decision maker in so X company. I want to understand about that company, which business are they into, whether they are right position to purchase a product, whether the person whom we are talking to is a decision maker or not. All we need to get over the call and get the information over the call or Google or whatever it is. That is called sales development call, and the responsibility of one of the major responsibility of our inside sales rep. Okay, a sales conversation should pick where SDR left off. Sales development representative is an inside sales guy who get the information about that particular person and qualify the lead and given to business development executive. So the responsibility of the sales call should be getting into the point. Like let's say a sales development representative qualify the lead, he get the more information about the client we're talking to, and he gave the handover to sales call means we directly talk about our product, we directly talk about how we're going to helpful for them, we directly give the price demonstration, price breakdowns and next steps and contract terms and some case studies if we have done with similar type of companies, etc. That's the difference between sales development call and sales call. Sales call is something which is happening in terms of product service what we are selling directly to the client and requesting for the next steps. Sales development call is primary research that we are doing before the call. And if our product is eligible for some trial version, say in sales call, we would be giving a trial of our product or whatever it is. That's about the difference between business development and inside sales. Out of the line, I would like to tell this is one of our primary responsibilities to take business development responsibilities and inside sales responsibilities as a whole. Our responsibilities include researching new clients, understanding our target segments, understanding more about our product, and pitching it to respective target segments. That's about it. And the next, and now we're going to explain about where we are getting the opportunities from, projects from, what type of industries are there, and how they are classified.
topic would be about where we will get the opportunities or projects from different types of industries. So basically, the opportunities or projects are usually comes from many companies, right? So it's more of B2B. So you'll get from business from a different business, right? From the different industries. So what happens here is in the different industries, so you have to tap them, like which industries you have to target, be it retail, e-commerce, manufacturing, IT, healthcare, hospitality. So how would you know what kind of industries we have, and what is the classification of the industries, and how it actually helps? So basically, in any country or anywhere in the world, so basically each and every industry has been classified, and it is assigned by a code by United States. So this SIC coding is nothing but standard industrial classification, which is actually given to each and every industry with a 4-digit code, which defines which industry they belong to. Okay, and this is NAIC code, which is nothing but given by North American industry classification. So again we call NAICS. Okay, so here in these two, the most essential thing is SIC coding. I'll show you how it look like and what kind of industries we have in that, and how you have to go through that and dig into that. So yeah, if you can see here, you just Google SIC code. There is a website called siccode.com. Okay, click on this. Okay, in this you can see there are a lot of browse SIC codes. See, all these are comes under industries: agriculture industry, forest, mining, construction, manufacturing, transportation, retail, finance, services, public administration, and all. And how would you know? Forget about NISC, but you should know what is NIX means. Like there's a few companies, very few companies out of 100, maybe one or two companies usually follow NICS, but the majority of companies are usually follows SIC code, and a few companies will not at all follow. But you should know, as a business development representative with the proper experience, you should know what is this SIC code, what is NICS code, and all. So to that, I'll just giving you how it actually helps and all. So you can just go through this, and you can browse which industries you want. I'm just giving an example, like let's say if you just click on this. So it is giving you are in which industry: agriculture, forest and fishing. And this you have again a classification like cash grains, field crops, vegetables, melons, fruits. And if you click on this, fruits and tree nuts, and in this fruits and tree nuts you have another different industry. 017 is a 3-digit code, and in this 017 you have another breakdown saying 0171, 0172, 0173, 0174, 0175. So for each and every industry there is a code which is assigned to them to classify that. Understand? Coming back, like how this IT companies works, and what kind of industry that fall into. So to you just see, you can see the whole SIC codes. Just click on this services, see what kind of services we have: personal services, business services, hotels, automotive. All this comes under services, right? Legal, health, educational, social, amusement, private, miscellaneous, a lot. So just click on this personal services. You see what kind of services you have under personal services again. So 72 is the personal services as I record, and for laundry, cleaning, garment, beauty, barber, photographic, shoe, funeral, even for all you have different codes. And in this you have a different separatory code. Like for you, if you see 73, 723, and if you click on 723, you have 7231, which is nothing for beauty shops, right? So in the same way, if you go for personal, instead of personal services, if you go to the business services, just click on this and click on business services, you can see a lot of business services can, like advertising, consumer credit, mailing, computer programming and data processing, miscellaneous and all. So our most essential SIC code would be 737, because all the IT companies and service-based companies and all falls under here. So you can see how many companies are there under business services in United States, and how many kind of employments you have. And in this particular business services, you have another classification for different kind of IT services that you provide. So pre-packaged softwares like antivirus, or any pre-packaged softwares like video editing software or photo editing softwares and all comes under here. Okay, and if you want any computer rental and leasing like hardware related works, that comes under 7377. Okay, and if you want any programming services like Java or those kind of companies comes under here. Okay, so for you all you have to know is a basic understand about what is what and what kind of SIC codes into and all. So but you won't be asking for in detail information about SIC, but you should know a brief understanding about what is SIC code. So, and even in manufacturing, we thought only manufacturing is one, but in manufacturing you have a beautiful setup like food, tobacco, textile, furniture, paper, all comes under manufacturing. But for each and every kind of a product, we have a separate code for it, like chemicals, petrol, rubber, leather, all, right? So let's say if I click on anyone, food and kindred, so that comes under 20, right? So in 20 you have different again classification: meat, dairy, frozen fruits, grain mill, bakery, sugar, fats, beverages, all this. And for again for all this, in even in the dairy products, if you click on this, in the dairy products you have a different classification: creamy butter, dry ice cream, fluid milk center. So they have classified each and industry separately, and they have their own identification code so that you can define that. Let's say if there is any company who will asking like, I want to reach all the dairy products in the in the United States. So you can just filter your data saying 202 is your SIC code, and whatever the company which falls under 202 is your target audience, right? So basically what you can do is you can just go through this, and you can explore around about how this SIC code works and all this. And at the same time, NIS, NICS, but NICS is like more of not important. If you rely more on SIC coding, it's more or less same. All we have is different kind of codes and different classifications, but rely only on SIC code, and because that actually helps. And coming back, see, this is SIC or NIX is basically to just understand which industries is your main spot to target, which would be the target audience for you, and to close more deals. And you can focus on each and every industry to when you are building the database, and even the email templates or anything. See, let's say if you're going on a industry focused pitches or industry focused campaigns, like let's say if you're talking to a manufacturing industry, so what you can do is you can build the database based on the SIC codes. Let's say you can just say that in the manufacturing you have a different classifications, so you can classify your database, you can classify your templates, you can have a proper sales cadence plan in place by using this SIC codes. So this is just for your fair understanding and reference where you can understand about it. And coming back, with reference to your JD, so everybody has your resumes. So in those resumes, what happens is we have given a few points which talks about your roles and responsibilities in your previous organization or in your current company, what you usually do, and what actually your responsibilities on a day-to-day basis. So to understand more about it, all you have to do is you have to understand what is that each and every sales responsibility and all. Okay, so this each and every sales responsibility is nothing but you'll see when you read that you'll understand what actually we are talking about. Okay, so if you understand this first particular line, it's saying experience in cold calling, business development and lead generation via phone, email and web. So that's what you do, right? What you do to bring the more leads, you do the cold calling, you do the emails, you run a email campaigns, you do LinkedIn marketing. What you do all this, you will be doing to bring more leads. That is nothing but lead generation, and which these leads will be used for to develop your business. That is nothing but business development, right? That's what we are talking in the first line, saying experience in your cold calling, in lead generation activities. But in the lead generation activities, through what? Through phone, like through cold calling, through emails, and through web, like LinkedIn. That is what the point about the first line. And the second point is nothing but building leads pipeline by executing campaigns. So what you do after database sourcing, you source your database, then you run the campaigns. For what? Do you run the campaigns to build or to generate leads, right? So that is nothing but lead pipeline. Leads pipeline is something which where you'll have a set of leads that you have to talk, or that where you have to talk to them and fix an appointment. So let's say you are talking to one customer today, and you can't guarantee that this guy will come and give a business to you, or if he will give a time to have a meeting immediately in the week or a two. He can be available in the next month, or maybe after 45 days, or maybe on the same day. So all you have to do is you have to build your leads pipeline to execute the campaigns. Understand? Then again, ability to make presentations and excellent communication skills. So what happens is, initially in the cold calls, you have to explain, you have to brief about what actually your company does. A small example, like what actually your company do, what technologies you do with, which companies are already used your product or your services, from where, which company or which industries they are into, or what kind of revenues you bought. So you have to explain a little brief about your company with a proper communication style. So you can have a story based telling, where you can example or you can brief about your company in a kind of a story. And strong analytical skills with a fair flair of business means nothing but, so the revenues, right? What kind of revenues you're bringing, what kind of closes you're bringing, about that. An aggressive selling approach and need to be a good team player. Of course, you talk about saying, I would be very pre-applicable and self-focused selling professional, where you will be talking much more about your company, and you sell it to any customer, and being a good team player by helping the other people in terms of sales. So, and again, establish network of relationships with key decision makers is nothing but you will be talking mostly to the top level guys, like chief or vice president or director levels, where you will be connecting with them and building a rapport to be in touch with them to generate more leads, and at the same time kind of a long-term relationship, even though if he's not giving any business now, maybe in the later stages. So then again, strong exposure on handling US market and willingness to work during US business hours. So basically, you will be handling the US markets, not for the Indian markets, as we told earlier. You will be reaching to the companies who are based out of US, be it Eastern, Central, or any states there. And you will be working in those business hours because they will be available in those timings. So you will work in the evenings and finish in the late nights. And you will be having deadlines and targets, because that's a part of our sales, where you will be reviewed on a quarterly basis, sometimes monthly or yearly basis. And you have to generate executive dashboards and reports in the CRM. We'll explain you later on how to generate the dashboards and reports to showcase what you have done in those particular days or 15 days. Let's say you have a leads of 15 to 20 or 50 to 60, and you are uploading each and everything in the CRM tool, and you have to understand how many leads you generated, what kind of efforts you have kept for each and every lead, and you can see there. And again, adapt it using Microsoft Office tools like Word, Excel, PowerPoint presentations. You should be knowing a little more about MS Office tools as well, and understanding of technical solutions and using CRM tool. So in the later modules, you'll have in detailed understanding about Salesforce CRM and how it helps and all, or Agile CRM, how to run the campaigns. We'll explain you in detail about those things. And when it comes to business development responsibilities, you again the same stories you will be drafting in a different way, saying developing an executive inside sales plan is nothing but generating the leads by doing a market research and sourcing the database, and doing the lead generation through cold callings and emails or LinkedIn. And what you do after cold calling is you do the prospecting, nothing but you will be talking to them, and you will see the qualification is nothing but you will see who are the people who are the right people to target, and you qualify whether this guy is really meet a requirement or not, whether he is interested or not. You qualify that, and you do the account mapping. Account mapping is nothing but, so what kind of services will be easy for him to sell, or what kind of services that he is looking out for, and based on that you will be understanding what is that and all, and you do the presentation, and you will be fixing an appointment, like a go-to meeting or a Skype, where you will explain about your company and you will understand what is their requirement and all. Okay, then again, effectively utilize available sales and marketing tools, like campaign planning. We use agile CRM, and ideal client profile you can see through LinkedIn. You can do the pipeline development, like if let's say you are done like 10 to 15 appointments, and out of these all 10 to 15 appointments, you have to create a pipeline, like who will be giving a revenue, and when you have to do the follow up, and you have to talk to them to what would be the next steps and all. So those kind of pipeline developments, and the forecasting of revenue. See, if you have 10 clients but only one client is giving a business in this month, so what about the rest of the clients? So you have to forecast it, when you can expect revenues from them on maybe in the next month or 2 or 3. So those kind of stuff. Then again, you have to generate new leads, set appointments for the sales managers within defined territory for a specific line of business through cold call campaigns. What you do is you do the campaigns, and you generate leads and set appointments where your sales managers will take the call, and they will be explaining more about the product, but not you, and it will be in the defined territory and for the specific lines of business. That is nothing but they will be asking you to generate leads for the US market. It can be any state, and they will be telling you to which industries to tap. So you have to generate leads from that particular industry and from that particular location to generate leads. And you have to work closely with sales managers to qualify and coordinate for the meetings, and when what kind of availability they have and the client have in mutual timings, and you fix an appointment where you will be scheduling it, and make sure everybody joins, and the meeting should go smoothly. Okay, and you have to establish, because as a business development guy you have to have a healthy relationships with all the customers, whether he is giving revenue or not. You have to be in a very good relationship with them, and of course internally you have to be very closely in terms of sales and marketing team to make it even more effective. And when you are talking to them, you need to be very a pleasing style where you can help them at any time. Okay, and you have to schedule the meetings and appointments to give more of collaboration. And when you're scheduling the meetings, you have to remind them, because they'll have n number of works, right? So let's say you have a meeting today at 2 o'clock, you will be doing a reminder email like 1:30, where you'll see like okay, this guy is reminding it to just make sure he will be available at the right time. If they have any delays and all, so that they will be informing us little upfront, where we will be not doing the necessary arrangements. Okay, and of course you do the data capturing, like 100% accuracy while working on CRM. So you do the database sourcing through ZoomInfo or the other database sourcing tools through Google Topology. We'll explain in detail about database sourcing in the next module, or in the maybe in the second or third module, but we'll be covering all. But this is the overall aspect of, like when you are talking to your manager, or when you are talking to your colleagues and all, so you have to tell them what you do and all. So let's say if they ask like what is your job responsibilities in the previous organization or in the current organization, so you have to tell them this is what I do on a daily basis. Okay, so you will be in the executive reporting style. So this is like I've given a different classification, so that you'll understand which comes under which. Okay, there are few business development roles or responsibilities. There are inside sales responsibilities. There is executive reporting. So you will be working under a business manager or directors, right? So you will be participating in the sales meetings. You will be participating in the campaign statuses and all. So you will be having a crucial role when you are talking to in a meetings, like what kind of achievements you have done, what kind of suggestions you're gonna give and all. And when you're doing a reviews with your team and top executive levels, you'll be part of it. So you have to tell them that yes, I am also part of those meetings and with the top level executives, to share the thoughts, and at the same time to share our progresses. Okay, and of course by seeing our performances in the previous years, and what kind of data and what kind of campaigns you're running, there will be a proper forecasting of business, like this kind of revenue that we have to build or we have to generate for this particular year and all. And you will be having the list of responsibility activities or areas to capture or to achieve them, and how. Those and all will be talking in the executive meetings, and where you will be understanding how to achieve that also. And the other part is time zones. Guys, in India, if you are in Kolkata, even if you are in Pune, even in Mumbai or Delhi or Hyderabad or Bangalore, the time is same, because in the all India follow the same time. But it is not like that in US, because US is a pretty big one, big country where they have different time zones. Because if you are in India, the time zone is same. Let's say if it is 2 o'clock in Bangalore, even in Delhi it is 2 o'clock. But in US it's not like that. They have 4 different time zones here. So uh, just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so basically time zones, we have 4 different time zones. So Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. So they each and every time zone have 1 hour difference. Let's say if there is a time like in Eastern, if it is 8 o'clock, in Central it is still 7, like 1 hour behind that, and Mountain it's again another 1 hour different. So when we are talking to a customer in Eastern time zone, so basically what happens is we have to follow. And let's say if the customer is coming, he's from Eastern, and your manager is in Pacific, and you are in IST, you have to make sure all the 3 time zones you have to align. And how, I'll show you how it is actually. uh, there is one website called World Time Buddy. So here you can just keep 3 to 4 timelines to understand, to match. So this IST is nothing but Indian Standard Time, and Eastern Time Zone is nothing but EST. You call EST, Eastern Standard Time. And let's say if your manager is in Pacific Standard Time, PST. So you can see here, let's say your client is asking for Saturday, say, I'm just giving an example. Okay, Monday, and he wants us to have a meeting at 10 o'clock his time. All right, Monday 10 o'clock his time. So you can just click on this home, because that become a home time zone, and your client is in Eastern. So just keep 10 o'clock Eastern is your time. Okay. So, and if you can compare that in your manager's time, it would be 7 o'clock. Understand? Got it, guys? So basically Eastern, you have 10 o'clock. In Pacific it's 7 o'clock. In Eastern it is 10 o'clock. So it's nothing but in Pacific it's 7. In Indian time zones it's 7:30 evening. So you have to plan accordingly when you are sending a calendar invite, so that nobody will make use of it. Okay. And at the same time, there is one more crucial work, the time zones. So you have to do a little research about what kind of time zones you have to follow, like Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. And based on that, you have to fix the timings and use it accordingly. But make sure you know all these time zones, and you should know what kind of states, which states comes under Eastern, which states comes under Central, which states comes under Mountain and Pacific. So you have to understand that as well. All right. Yeah, just give me 1 second, guys. Let me come back to you. Ashok will take the next session.
Right. So if we talk about different type of companies, I think overall, all of you should understand that there are 2 main categorization that we can do for software engineering companies. One is going to be product-based companies. Second is going to be service-based companies. Now, what does that mean? Right. So a product-based company is a company which is working on technology for their own customers. Right. It's as simple as that, right? Like, so Amazon is building their website, their technology, so that they can serve their customers better. Coding Ninjas is building a software, building technology to make sure that students learning from Coding Ninjas have an amazing experience, right? So we, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, all these are product-based companies. Then you have service-based companies, which basically means that I am not building software for myself. I'm building it for some other company who is going to basically, who has some requirement and they don't have tech capability within themselves, like within the company itself. So they are basically outsourcing that work to me because I have the technology capability, they don't have it. A perfect example of this will be, let's take an example of a bank like SBI, right? SBI is an expert at finance. SBI is expert at banking. They're not expert at technology. So what they generally do is, if they have some technology requirement, they will outsource this to a company like a TCS, Infosys, or a company like these, right? So these are TCS, Infosys, etc. are service-based companies which are basically doing this work for some of us. So this is very, very important for you to understand because their hiring criteria, the way they hire, is extremely different. And the sort of salaries they give is also extremely different, right? So if you will look at TCS, Infosys, and all other service-based companies, their salaries will be in the range of 3 to 5 LPA, 3 to 5 lakh per annum, right? Like that's generally what a typical salary would look like. And when they are looking to hire, they are expecting that you are smart. That's it. They are not expecting that you are really good coder. Basic programming is okay. Your aptitude is good. Your communication skills are decent. Right? That's what they generally tend to focus on. They don't expect you to be really great programmer to basically hire you. And the simple reason for that is they need to hire tens of thousands of people every year. And if they try to find 10,000, 20,000 good programmers every year, it's going to be extremely hard. Sadly, it's going to be extremely hard to find in India. Like if you want to hire so many good programmers, it's not going to be possible. Right? So what they do is they hire people who are decently smart, and then they will train them over 6 to 8 months and then get them to start working on the projects that they want people to work on. So this is basically one sort of company. The other set of companies is basically where mostly everybody wants to go to, right? That's sort of like the target that everybody wants to go to. That is product-based companies. And the reason is that they tend to pay higher. Also, the work tends to be better as well. Your growth tends to be better as well in terms of learning experience, as well as salaries, as well as everything else, right? A simple reason is that once you are working on a product, you are constantly working on that, improving that, learning user feedback, then improving it further, working on how to make it faster, right? Like you have to constantly keep working on iterating on the same product. Whereas if you're in a service-based company, you work on a product, you bring it to a certain level, then you give it to the actual company who wanted to get that done. Then you take another project, you begin from scratch, which generally tends to be repetitive, right? Like you do the same steps to start building the project. So once you have built the project, then basically things get a little more interesting. That doesn't really happen in case of services company. In a lot of cases, in some cases, it will definitely happen. In a lot of cases, that doesn't happen. So a lot of people want to get into product-based companies. And when you're looking at product-based companies, their requirement is not 10,000, 20,000 people every year, right? So they definitely want people who are really good programmers, right? Now within this, some companies focus on data structure algorithms as the primary skill set when they're hiring. Some companies tend to focus on development skills as well. So development skills are basically what you really have to do, what you actually have to do once you join the company, right? Once you actually join a company, they don't. So what you need to do is you need to build websites. You need to build Android applications. You need to work on machine learning algorithms. You need to work on real development skills. And that's what basically companies are looking at in terms of their.
Service versus product versus platform. These are three different types of online businesses. Before I taught you 10 different types of online businesses, but these are categories of online businesses. Some of them fall under a service category, some of them fall under the product category, some of them fall under the platform category. And I think it's important to understand the difference among these three categories of online businesses. So I created another chart, and it goes from simplest to most complex type of online businesses, from less profitable to most profitable type of online businesses. And the service type of business is the least profitable, and also it's the simplest one to set up. Let's say that you're a freelancer and now you freelance online. Well, you just put up your website and put up your portfolio and start finding people to hire you. You really didn't have to do much. You were doing whatever you were doing before. Now you just put yourself online. So you're not gonna make millions of dollars. That's not gonna scale a lot, but it's very simple to set up, and you can start learning how to run an online business right away. Basically, create your website, put your portfolio, and maybe you don't even have a website. You could go to a place like Elance or Upwork and put your resume, your experience, and these are marketplaces to find people, and maybe people find you. I wouldn't consider that an online business like I'm talking about in this course or what I'm doing, but it's the simplest way to get started. So video production, web agency, blogging, product reviews, yeah, services. My business is a service-based business. It's not just me, there's people that I hire, but at the end, it's basically a website that gets traffic, and we do videos as people request them. Physical products. This is it's a lot more complex. It could be a little bit more profitable, but unless you're doing drop shipping, which means you are just selling stuff, but you're not actually, you don't have the inventory. You're just passing these orders to somebody that can actually ship them. It's actually a headache. If you have an eBay store, or if you know of anybody that does, they get an order, they have to package everything, they have to ship it, and it costs to ship stuff, and people return stuff. It's a lot more difficult to run this type of online business. So not ideal, but if you have a really successful, let's say, t-shirt store or crafts store, then you could make a living. And there's a lot of people that make a living like that. You may even not need to create your own website. You could sell your own craft and handmade things through a website like Etsy, or on Craigslist, or you can get a Shopify shopping cart and put your stuff on there. So it's very easy to get started, but the complexity of running it is a little bit harder. Now, digital products. I would think there's no question that that's the ideal type of online business, because you don't have to ship anything physical, and because it's digital, you can have thousands of sales, and it really doesn't affect your overhead whatsoever. Unless you start getting millions, maybe you have to get a bigger server. But really, once you record your informational product or your ebook, then it's just fantastic. It's really, really almost 100% profit. Online courses, apps, ebooks, creating plugins, informational products, platform. So platform is the most complex type of online business to build, but it can be the most profitable. So let's say, for example, if you want to, Shopify, it's a very popular shopping cart. That is a platform. The guys are not selling products or informational products. They've created a platform where people can sell stuff. Etsy is the same, is a platform. Facebook is a platform. WhatsApp is a platform that allows communication among people. Those ones they're the holy grail of online businesses. But the reality is that they're so hard to build, and they need hardcore infrastructure if you really want to cater to millions of people, that they really fall under the startup type of business. You can create a platform by yourself, but it will be very simple. Maybe an invoicing little startup, but at the end of the day, really, you're talking about startups. They're online businesses, but they're not lifestyle online businesses. They're complex to set up. They can be very highly scalable and profitable. But really, that's out of everything you could do online. If you're shooting for the stars, you should really think about how to build a platform. And a step below, which is a lot simpler, is the selling digital products, online courses, stuff like that. So there you go. Now you see a little bit of the spectrum and the four main categories of online businesses. Hey, did you enjoy this video? If you want to see more like this, just subscribe here. If you want a free gift, click here. Yeah. Which one is going to be the one you click? La 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 li 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 li. Oh.
Guys, good morning. So I'm going to explain you about the difference between the product, service, and the solution. So primarily, there are so many companies existed in this globe. Each and every company will generate revenue by selling something. Whatever they are selling is categorized into a product, a service, or a solution. Clear? So a product company is nothing but, in terms of, in a generic way, the business that creates some product and intended to make some profit out of it. Mobile is a product, and some television is a product. Mobile is a product, television is a product. Like that, any other product is a product. They created something and they are selling it to get some profits. But in IT industry, little bit different. There is an IT product. IT product is something that you can use in your computer, something that you use in your computer hardware to make certain tasks to be done. Example, Skype for business, Microsoft Office, or any other product. There are so many products available in the market which we don't know and haven't heard about that. For example, Atlassian is a product based company wherein they have lot of products like Jira, Jira Align, Jira Core. There are so many names. We don't need to necessarily go deep into this. But the thing is, Atlassian is a product based company. That's what we need to know. So what is Atlassian doing? Atlassian has done a lot of research and they came up with some products. That products can be used by any service company. Got it? So let's say, for example, uh, okay, product company. When you consider product company, there are so many product based companies like Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce. For an instance, now take Atlassian product. Atlassian has so many products like Jira, there was something which I showed, Confluence. So Atlassian has so many products, right? So the service companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Vertex, there are so many thousands of companies, service-based companies. These companies use that Atlassian products and build some solution to some any other company from various industry, whichever needs it. For an instance, New Car Steel. Okay, so when it comes to our job responsibility, we are working in service company like Vertex or Wipro, and we are pitching to some other random company that we can help you by providing service with the help of these products. That is what you need to understand. So I hope you understood what is the basic difference between the service, product, and solution. By name itself, we can actually identify what is the difference. Okay, so if we talk about generic way, product is something company produces a product and they're selling it. Service means, I'll give you a real-time example. Let's say Sharp company or Hitachi company or LG company, they create a product like air condition and they sell it to the market, and it's job done. That company made some profit and the job done. And coming to service based company, Urban Clap has a lot of AC repairers. So in case if you need any service of that AC, if you can book it, they'll come, they'll do, and they'll go. Here, if you if you compare the two different things, when you give some money to Hitachi or LG, they are giving a product, and you can see it, you can feel it, you can actually feel it. But when it is a service, you can't see it because they are coming, they are fixing the problem, whatever it is, AC cleaning or AC repairing or fixing or gas filling. They do some service and they'll go. Service companies will get money, product company also will get some profits. That's the basic difference. Here also, product company will produce some products and sell it to the market, and the service company will use that products and help some other companies to get the problem done. So that's the difference between the product based and service company. I'll show one more thing in LinkedIn where you can able to understand what is the primary difference between IT service companies and IT product based companies. If you can keep information technology and services, information services, you have around 70,000 companies. All these companies are service based companies. Experience. So all these companies, they build some products which will be helpful for IT. Sorry, no, all these companies are service based companies. They take help of some other product based companies and they're solving problems in various industries. Now take computer software. So Microsoft, VMware, Symantec, Adobe, Skype, CA Technologies, SAP, Autodesk, all these are product-based companies. All these are the companies which do some lot of research and they come up with some solution, come up with some product that will be helpful to create multiple solutions. For an instance, I'm telling you, Atlassian has a lot of products here, and Virtusa is an IT service company that will take help of Atlassian products and create some kind of solution for new car. So that's the relation between the product based and product based, service based, and IT. So that's about it. And Sumant will take care of inbound and outbound operations. What is the difference between the inbound and outbound? How can be implemented in sales process? If you have any doubts, you can contact me. Just a minute, guys.